Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we got a great show for you. We're going to talk about Atemoya. This one is a container-grown Atemoya, and on my right is a seedling-grown sugar apple. And this is a wonderful tasting sugar apple. It's got about 4 or 5 fruit on there. We're going to talk a little bit about pollination and stuff. Don't go away. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about this tree. This is an in-ground sugar apple that's about going on 5 years old. I grew this from a seedling and it turned out to be a real winner. It's a fantastic producer and it's done quite well, good flavor. It's a green sugar apple, also known as Annona squamosa. Now this sugar apple also has about 5 or 6 fruit on it, and I expect to get probably a few more because I still have pollination. This is a high producer, gives me lots of fruit considering that it's a small tree, and I do prune it back a bit every year because I really want to maintain it compact. Everything here has to be compact. I don't want to have one fruit here. There's another fruit down. I shouldn't say down. I should say right over here. I don't know if you can see this on camera. I got a fruit there. There's a fruit way here behind me in the back. I have a fruit right back here. And there's another one over here, and there's some smaller ones on this branch. So I expect to get 5 or 6 fruit from this sugar apple. These are green sugar apples. They're very tasty. I really enjoy them. This one over here is an Atemoya, which is a cross between Annona squamosa and Annona cherimola. So let's talk Geffner Atemoya, which I grafted, and we can see we've got some really nice fruit. It seems to be very productive. I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3, and in the back there are literally 3 more if I'm not mistaken, or at least I had 3 more. Let me see, let me take a look, see if some of them fell off maybe. I could have sworn there were 3 of them back here, but I could be mistaken. But here we go, we have 2 fruit on the back. And as I said earlier, I believe I have a small one over here. So that's not bad. I've got 1, I've got 2, I got 2, 4, I've got 5. And like I said, this is a container grown Atemoya. Now, I have another one over here, which I'll show you, and that's the Lisa that's growing in a grow bag. This one is in a fabric grow bag, okay? And I like to experiment with these, and I'll do a video. You'll see some of my videos I talk about the grow bags, and I'll eventually give you a video that's all about grow bags and some of the benefits that they provide. This is Lisa Atemoya, and this one is a cross between a pink sugar apple or a purplish pink sugar apple and a Cherimoya, and this is where you get the Lisa. Lisa has a very beautiful exterior color, a kind of a pinkish, purplish, very beautiful, and then the flesh inside is white with just a little hint of pink along the edges. Very tasty, one of my favorite Atemoyas, and Geffner as well is one of my favorites. So I guess all the Atemoyas are my favorites for the most part. Atemoya is really delicious. It's a great combination, and the best combination is obviously, in my opinion, and many people's opinion, is when you graft them onto the Cherimoya rootstock. Now, there has been some conversation about grafting onto pond apple. They say it provides some dwarfing, but I have seen mixed results, and I hear mixed results from people. So if you believe that pond apple is great for Annonas, leave a little comment and tell us why you think that's a good idea. All right, so we're going to go back here now, and we're going to look at the Geffner that's behind me, and I'm going to just basically touch a little bit upon some of the pollination points. All right, so we're back at the Atemoya Geffner, and I had said earlier that I thought there were 3 fruit here, but I could only see 2 from where I was looking at it. Here they are. You can see the 2 fruit, but here's the other one right here. There's your other fruits. You've got 1, 2, 3. Now this is, you'd think this is great, but in reality, that's going to put a lot of weight on a branch. So, you know, we're probably going to keep an eye on this and most likely remove one of these 3 fruit, probably the one all the way on the end, and we'll see if we can save these 2 over here. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to leave that alone. Now, I said I was going to talk a little bit about the pollination, and the key thing to remember is that they do require pollination, and it can be done by hand, or in the best scenario, in my opinion, is when you have the correct insects. And they're little beetles that come around. They're very small. And all right, so pollination of the sugar apples and the Annona species is interesting because you have flowers that develop in stages, right? So you'll have a male stage, female stage cycle. And then you have multiple flowers on the tree. Some are in the male stage and some are in the female stage. So When you see one that's barely, well, I would say barely open, when you see one that's slightly open, just a little bit, that would be a female. When you have one that's completely open, all 3 petals are open, there you have a male. So by hand pollination basically involves using something like a small little container, a little black container usually, and then you just tap on the male and you collect the pollen, and then you go to a flower that would be a female and you would deposit using a little camel hair brush, very small, thin little brush, and you would go ahead and you would do that by inserting the camel hair brush with the pollen, okay? That's basically what it is. But when you do that sometimes, thinking that you don't have the beetles, you go around with your little brush and you start poking around, and next thing you know, you got beetles coming out of there. So you're like, if you've got beetles everywhere and you start noticing they're everywhere, you're in good shape. The problem is that a lot of times people will spray, and there's nothing wrong with spraying as long as you're not using something that's going to pretty much wipe out every insect on the planet. You don't really want that. You have beneficials and you have non-beneficials, right? So depending on the circumstances, you're going to need to spray once in a while, but try to use organic products as much as you can. That's my opinion. That's what I do, right? So if you're going around your yard constantly spraying, those beetles are not going to be around, obviously, okay? And you're going to be doing a lot of devastation in terms of the environment and the ecosystem and the whole 9 yards. So, you know, avoid spraying. If you want to have a healthy environment, you don't want to be spraying all the time, especially things that are toxic. So I like to stay with neem and try to use products like, for example, I will use something like a spinosad. But again, there's many products, and I'm not here to talk about the products. I'm here to explain to you that when you spray, you better think about what you're doing, and you better think about what it's going to do to the pollinators, okay? So this plant, like I said, is an Atemoya. This is a Geffner. It's in a container. It's loaded with fruit. It's doing really well. And in my future video, I'll do one on Ilama. Ilama is a great fruit, terrific fruit, very hard to grow here in South Florida, but I do know some people that have some Ilamas that are doing terrific with them. And I'm hoping that if you are watching and you were one of those people, get in touch with me because I'd like to get some scions. I do have one Ilama here on the property. It's in a container. It was a seed-grown tree. Has never really done anything except, you know, a little flower here and there once in a blue moon, and haven't had any luck with it. So let's see if this year maybe I have a little bit of luck, and I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll see you again. Have a great one.